Hi, boys and girls. It's Miss Pacell. I am going to preview the first 5 questions of your weekly review handout. So for today, you have 5 questions you're going to work out and answer. Don't forget, if there is a G recorded underneath the item number, you need to work this out on graph paper very neatly in number order. Number 1. Lizzie needs to simplify this expression, 100 minus 8 times 7 plus 20. She uses the order of operations to decide what order to evaluate first. Then she inserts parentheses around that operation. Which expression does she write? So, boys and girls, you need to think about your order of operations rules. That's your PEMDAS rules. And you need to think, do we subtract, multiply, or add first? All right, so once you decide which operation is first, then you put parentheses around that operation. All right, number 2. Rosie. Number 2, I'm sorry, boys and girls. Nicholas multiplies the fraction 5/6 by a whole number greater than 1. What can you predict about the product? So what you have to know is out of chapter 8, and that is that when we multiply any factor times 1, it equals itself. If we multiply any factor times another factor that has a value less than 1, like proper fractions, then the product's going to be less than that fraction. It's going to be less than the factor that is with that proper fraction. If we multiply a factor times another factor that has a value greater than 1, like a whole number or a mixed number or an improper fraction, then the product is going to be greater than the factor that's multiplied by that number greater than 1 or by that factor that is an improper fraction or a mixed number. So that goes back to topic 8, and that is called multiplication as scaling if you want to look it up in your math journal. Number 3, how many 1/4 yard pieces of pipe can be cut from a 5-yard long piece of pipe? So we're cutting pieces of pipe the same length. So we want to ask ourselves, what are we splitting into equal groups? Are we splitting the 1/4 yard long pieces or the 5-yard long piece of pipe? And obviously we're splitting the 5-yard long piece of pipe into 1/4 yard long pieces. So we're dividing a whole number by a unit fraction. So our answer wants to reflect how many of the 1/4 yard long pieces of pipe can be cut. So that comes straight out of chapter 9, dividing whole numbers and unit fractions. Number 4, we're multiplying 2 numbers. We are using the standard algorithm. So that means that we're putting the factor with the most digits on top and the 2-digit factor on the bottom. We will have 2 partial products that we will need to add to get our product. Last, number 5. 1/3 of an apple pie was left over in the refrigerator. Maddie and Aslan equally shared the leftover pie. What fraction of the original pie did each friend get? So you're asking yourselves, since you see this is going to be division because you're sharing something equally, you ask yourself, what are we splitting into equal parts? You're not splitting the girls into equal parts. You're splitting that 1/3 of an apple pie. So if we start with 1/3 of an apple pie and we split it into 2 pieces, we get a smaller unit fraction as our answer. So each girl is going to get less than 1/3 of that pie. So think about that while you're working this. Again, it comes straight out of chapter 9, where we're dividing unit fractions and whole numbers. All right, so tomorrow I will preview 6 through 10, and you will work those problems out. Because we don't have a full week of school this week, and because we are splitting a weekly review into 2 days instead of 5 days, I am not assigning any iReady math. If you are bored to death and you don't have enough schoolwork between your 4 subjects, then you're welcome to work on that just as optional, but it is not required this week. I do want you to have your weekly review handout completed. All right. If you have any questions, don't forget I have office hours this morning. Each of us have our remote learning office hours and our Google Meet code in our Google Classroom. Make sure that you look at that. All right. If you need me and it's not in my office hours, like I said in class on Friday, send me an email and I will make a time to meet with you. All right, boys and girls, don't forget to watch the video to go over my test that I gave you on Friday, and I will see you tomorrow.